All right, everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone had a nice lunch. Hopefully the inmates, you got a chance to have your lunch. Meredith Chacon, who are you here for?
Your Honor, I'm here for Christopher Letty Moreno. I'd like to speak to somebody from CTD before I talk to my client, if that's possible.
Yes, I'll send you to breakout room number 2.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, number 3. All right, and then Jerry Valdez, who are you here for?
Mr. Lewis, Judge, I think he needs to sign his video consent and trial certification.
And it's Lewis.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you know if he's received the paperwork, Mr. Lewis? Have you received any paperwork?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Judge, I'll call the jail and ask him to help him out.
All right, they're going to help him out. Mr. Lewis, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Okay.
And I'm going to send your attorney to number 4, and they're going to make sure the paperwork gets taken care of. Who are the parties on Clifford Leblanc? All right, Mr. LeBlanc, we have your paperwork. We're just waiting on your attorney.
That's common.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
sense.
All right, Kirk Sherman. Are you here for Mr. LeBlanc? Kirk Sherman.
Judge, I'm here for Mr. Gutierrez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Have you had a chance to speak with the prosecutors?
Yes, we just have to go over paperwork. If you could put us in a room with share screen for
yes.
Mr. Gutierrez. Thank you.
I'll send you to breakout room number 6. Mr. Gutierrez, if you can go to 6, please.
If that's the kid, I'm not taking.
All right, who is the prosecutor on LeBlanc for me, please?
3, I'll take a 3.
Judge, that was me.
Maybe even a 4, but I'm not. I'll fight it to the worst.
All right, Mr. LeBlanc, are you able to mute and unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because there's a lot of noise coming from your end.
Okay, I can mute myself if
Okay, so what I'll do, Mr. LeBlanc, is if you'll pay attention, I will, when I need you to unmute, I'll ask you to unmute. And then when I need you muted, I'll mute you. Okay? Thank you. Court is calling 2021, thank you, CR 6041, State of Texas versus Clifford Henry LeBlanc. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the defense? All right, for the defense? Is it Kirk Sherman for the defense?
Yes, ma'am. I couldn't hear you, Judge. I'm sorry. There's a problem. Somehow.
That's okay. And are you Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Judge.
Any objection from the defense?
No, ma'am.
Mr. LeBlanc, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. LeBlanc, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Mr. Sherman, I'm showing you what's entitled acknowledgement of discovery. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
You're muted.
My apologies. I don't know how that happened. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Did you review all the discovery with your client, and have you received all the discovery?
I believe I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. LeBlanc, I'm going to show you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did understand it and I did review it.
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge, we're proceeding on the indictment. However, we are waiving one of the repeater count that's alleged in the bottom of the indictment.
All right, any objection?
No, ma'am.
Mr. LeBlanc, I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand what you're charged with is possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargaining agreement. For any reason the court does not follow your plea bargaining agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargaining agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, I do.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargaining agreement in this case?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court can find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do understand that.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to that offense?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe he's currently competent and is legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, he is, Your Honor.
Mr. LeBlanc, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargaining agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm going to show you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison. There is a $500 fine. The state is opposed to your application for community supervision or deferred adjudication. You understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, I do.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places? Mr. Leblanc,
Yes, I did.
did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, I did.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Then to the offense as charged in the indictment, how do you plead, Mr. LeBlanc? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
I pleaded no contest, but I meant to plead guilty.
I'm sorry, what did you say? You said you're pleading no contest, but
I'm guilty. I'm pleading guilty.
you're pleading guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
State, do you have any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea?
We do, Judge. State would offer State's Exhibit number 1 at this time.
Any
No,
objections?
No, ma'am.
Mr. LeBlanc, I'm going to show you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, I do understand.
Did you understand that? I'm sorry?
Yes, I do. I do. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
And she knows about the accident too.
I think you cut out and mute in the last part.
All right, off the record, Ms. Ferguson, if you could check the chat box, please.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know where I'm.
I heard the defendant said the same thing. They got disconnected.
There's a little circle down here. I don't know what that means. She may have gone off to talk to the.
You can take, unplug it and bring it over here.
It just cut off.
Okay.
You're muted, Judge.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. This will be called back on February 23rd at 9 a.m. At that time, I will make a decision on your application, Mr. LeBlanc. If you're released from custody, you'll need to appear in the 187 District Court at 9 a.m. on February 23rd. The 187 District Court, the court is located at 300 De La Rosa. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I do understand.
All right. If you are in custody, then you will appear by Zoom from the Bexar County Jail. I will base my decision on your application from a report that's presented to me from probation and any other evidence that's presented to me. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. LeBlanc, do you have a drug or alcohol problem that a TAP evaluation needs to be done?
No, ma'am. I quit doing those things.
All right, so here's the thing. When people say they've quit doing things, does that mean you quit doing things since you've been in custody at the Bexar County Jail, or you previously quit before you were arrested?
Well, I previously quit before I was arrested. I ended up moving to Elmendorf with my mother-in-law to be with my son and to better my life.
Mr. Sherman, does your client need a TAP evaluation? You're on mute, Mr. Sherman.
Yeah, a TAP evaluation may be in his best interest.
All right, they're going to do a TAP evaluation. Mr. LeBlanc, I'm asking that you please be honest with the TAP evaluation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So if they ask you about drug use,
Okay.
because when you come back to court, I am going to ask you about drug use, and I'm going to want drug use, prior to your being arrested and taken into custody, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. Probation is going to meet you there, and probation is going to tell you what they need from you, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Mr. Sherman, you can go to number 1 or you can be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. For the parties on Nicole
Thank you.
Hall,
Jeff Mulliner for Nicole Hall.
And Brittany, Judge.
court is going to call 2021 CR 10341, State of Texas versus Nicole Hall. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Brittany Sparks.
for the defense?
Jeff Mulliner for Nicole Hall.
And are you Ms. Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No objections.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Hall, I'm going to show you what's entitled defense consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and that you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Hall, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we're proceeding on count 1. We're going to waive count 2 and waive the enhancement paragraph.
Any objections?
None.
Ms. Hall, I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand in count 1, you charged with offense of possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams? That is a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Judge.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
She is, Your Honor.
Ms. Hall, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than a plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 1 only. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine, no application for deferred adjudication. The state recommends community supervision. They will take in consideration grand jury numbers 756544, and there's to be restitution of $57 to SAPD for drug testing. And the state recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea bargaining agreement, Ms. Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
There are none.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 160 hours of community service restitution. You're to follow the recommendations of the TAP evaluation and weekly UAs. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged in count 1, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence support the defendant's no contest plea?
Yes, Judge. State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
No objection.
All right, off the record. Rebecca, this is Nicole Hall, 2021 CR 10341, and they're proceeding on count 1 only. Thank you, Ms. Hall. We're back on the record. I'm going to show you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am. I believe I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, willing to waive PSI, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Nicole has been drug and alcohol free for some time. At the time that she was arrested for this, she provided to the arresting officers a drug test that she had recently taken at that time. She's also been the victim of domestic violence. She does have a case pending with the DA's office in that capacity. She has been trying to meet her challenges head on and is employed full-time as a manager for a facility that works with animals. It suits her personality and her needs quite well, and she is working a great number of hours and really just trying to keep her head down and move forward. We appreciate the opportunity that the state has given her to get a probated sentence in this case if the court were to accept it. And I believe that she's going to make the best of her opportunity. And I thank you for the time.
All right. So Jeff, you provided me something that we haven't had in this court before. Now I'm interested. So Ms. Hall, what animals do you work with?
I work for a dog rescue. So I work with the dogs from shelters and animal control. Here in San Antonio, we work a lot with SAPA.
Oh, wow. So what are you in charge of? Do you have to clean them, bathe them, walk them, exercise?
I have over 80 dogs that I care for, and they're all sitting waiting for me right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, we need to get you back so their tails can start wagging.
We transport them out. Most of them do go up north to Canada to different rescues up there or to their forever homes once they're adopted out from us.
Brenda, I'm learning, I always say, if you don't learn something new, your day was wasted. I did not know they were sending dogs to Canada.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Jeff, that means that the dogs have to learn French as well as English. So hopefully they're working with them. Brenda, as a side note, I was watching a documentary and somebody thought there were some issues with the dog because the dog wouldn't respond. They discovered the dog doesn't speak English. and once they started speaking Japanese, the dog was like, yay, I know what you're saying. You never think about that.
That's funny.
All right. Do you have any children, Ms. Hall?
Yes, I do.
And what are their ages?
13, 11, and 9.
All right. And do they live with you?
I live with my ex-husband and my 2 oldest are there.
Okay. All right, so this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 6 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 6 years. There's a $1,000 fine that'll be probated. Take in consideration grand jury number 756544. $57 restitution to SAPD for drug testing. There's to be proof of employment within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. 160 hours of community service restitution. I'll deduct 40 of those if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination with the booster. I'm not forcing anyone to get the vaccination, but if you do, 40 hours will be deducted. I'm going to ask for parenting classes. Regardless, you have to complete parenting classes. If you complete the parenting classes, then the remainder of your community service hours will be deducted. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
I just provided a drug test, but it'll be negative.
All right, who are you providing a drug test to?
I did it for the prosecution.
Okay. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to hold off on the TAP evaluation, Rebecca. Let's see how she does. So you're going to have random UAs, or either you can do the patch. The thing about the patch costs more, but the patch is easy if you have different time constraints, because you put it on, they tell you to come put it on, and then they tell you the date you need to come back for them to take it off and test it. With random UAs, they call you up and say, come take a UA. But if you're at work or something, just let them know. They're pretty, they try to accommodate work schedules.
Okay.
We're going to do regular Zoom reporting. And I'm going to want field visits, random 2 times per month. Rebecca, is there anything else she needs?
No, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hall, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
I don't think so. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons
Yes,
or
ma'am.
ammunition. If you have a question over the definition of a weapon, you'll need to contact your attorney for that.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Mr. Mulliner, you can go to number 2. Probation will meet you there and go over conditions with you, and then you can be excused from that breakout room.
Thank you,
Thank
Your
you
Honor.
very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Sparks.
Marcus, I sent you a chat.
All right. Before we take up Mr. Stetson, who's just come in the breakout room, is anyone else ready?
Judge, are you ready for me to go to the breakout room now with Ms. Hall?
Yes, you can go to the breakout room with them.
Judge, I don't know, they have my paperwork yet on Mr. Lewis there, but he's already signed it.
All right. To the clerks, can you check on the paperwork for Mr. Lewis, please?
Yes, Judge, I'll check right now.
Thank you. And then Mr. Stetson, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Sure. Ms. Ferguson, if you could go to number 4 to let Mr. Stetson know what is going on with his case.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Linda Corley.
Judge, I am still working on paperwork. My client may like to take a different plea, so I'm working on that. I just need to find out how many days in he has on his case, and I was going to chat the clerk.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll send you to a breakout room and the clerk will meet you there.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Or you can chat, whichever is easiest for you.
I can just chat and wait for my turn.
Okay, awesome. Raymond Martinez.
Judge, Mr. Samaniego's in the courtroom, Judge.
All right, let's bring Mr. Samaniego up. Thank you. All right, is there a prosecutor available on Mr. Samaniego?
Yes, Judge.
And before we go on the record, was there a plea to only one case or was there a plea to more than one?
I thought it was more than one, Judge.
Okay, let me see. I think the two cases I have are 2125 and 8751. Is that correct?
I'll have to get Marcus this up on the numbers, Judge.
Okay.
2125 and 8751. Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, Mr. Samaniego, thank you so much for making it here. Were you able to get your truck to someone else?
Yes, ma'am. After I got stuck, I had to play in the mud a little bit, but I got here. I apologize for being late.
Oh my gosh, no problem. Where did you get stuck?
Well, I was trying to unload the trailer and leave my truck, and I went at the dump. It just started raining, so yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You were not injured or hurt, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's the good thing. All right, the court is going to call. Court is going to call 2020 CR 2125 and 2021 CR 8751, State of Texas versus Patrick Samaniego. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Raymond Martinez.
All right, and are you Patrick Samaniego?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. The court will note for the record that the defendant is actually present in the courtroom. Any objections to us proceeding by video, state?
No objection.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Samaniego, any objection to us proceeding by video?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we're here today for sentencing. And I guess it's easy is to start with 2020 CR 2125. And 2020 CR 2125, the court will follow your plea bargain agreement. And the court will sentence you to 180 days in the state jail facility. Give you credit for any time served. Is that a judgment satisfied or no?
No, Judge, but I am going to want to address the court on the back time credit when you get a chance.
Yes.
So, Judge, what happened with Mr. Samaniego, if you'll remember, has cases in Guadalupe County as well.
Yes.
So at the time that he posted bond in this case, he had a no bond case or a case that didn't have a bond set in Guadalupe County. So he posted bond in Bexar County so he could get over to Guadalupe County. And he wound up staying there for a good while. I want to say maybe 2 or 3 months. It's not going to reflect on your records that he has that credit because he was sitting in Guadalupe County Jail. But all that was part of a common scheme or transaction to try to resolve all of his criminal cases. So we asked the court to consider giving him credit for that time he spent in Guadalupe County after he bonded out of Bexar County up until the time he got released.
Right. I will give him credit for the time that he spent in Guadalupe County, but does anyone know what that amount is?
I'll get it for the clerk, Judge. I think I do have it. I just have to do a little research. And this is the case where Sam Locke is his counsel in Guadalupe County, Judge.
All right, the court will give him credit for any time served while in Guadalupe County while this case was pending. What I can tell you, Mr. Martinez, is there probably is going to have to be a knock on this case done as far as time is concerned, because the clerks only have the time in Bexar County. But Mr. Samaniego will make sure that you get credit for that time that you spent in Guadalupe County, but it will only be if these cases were pending. Do you understand?
Yes,
All right, is there anything else with regards to that case from either side? State?
No, Judge.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Samaniego, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if I didn't say it on the record, I'll say it now. That cause number is running concurrent with 2021 CR 8751. All right, next we're going to move on to 2021 CR 8751. Are both parties ready?
State's ready.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client, Mr. Martinez?
A couple of things, Judge. We'd ask the court to follow the plea agreement, but I also want to point out to the court that the cases in Guadalupe County are still not quite resolved, although now that we've worked out these, they're going to probably follow a similar resolution. I'm pointing it out because this case requires him to do probation so that when he's released from the sentence on the 6 months in the state jail, he may still be fumbling around with Guadalupe County. So I wanted the court to be aware in case he doesn't show up to probation upon notice to the court that he got released on the other case. It could be because he's dealing with the other case and they haven't released him, because he may serve a short sentence on that one as well.
All right, everyone, just give me a moment, please.
You might finish the 6 months before you finish whatever you're doing. Sometimes you if you got released, and you didn't show up, you didn't show warrant. And Guadalupe releases, and get another warrant from it.
I'm here, Judge.
Thank you. All right, we're off the record. Rebecca, this is Patrick Samaniego. And cause number 2020 CR 2125. He's being sentenced to 180 days in the state jail facility. He doesn't have a judgment satisfied on that case, so he's going to end up going into custody. This is going to run concurrent with 2021 CR 8751. And in that case, he's going to receive probation.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Okay. All right. So this is what the court is going to order. In 2021 CR 8751, and we're back on the record, Brenda. Okay. The court is going to follow your agreement. The court will sentence you to 10 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. There's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. This will run concurrent with 2020 CR 2125 and 19-05-75-CR-C. Am I understanding that is in Comal County?
Guadalupe County, Judge.
Oh, Guadalupe County. All right, any objections to the court changing the plea paperwork to reflect that that cause number is from Guadalupe County?
No, Your Honor.
The state will take in consideration 2020 CR 3298, 2020 CR 3299. There's to be restitution and cause number 2020 CR 3299 to Joe Arriaga, ARRIAGA, and $350 to Tracy, TRACIE, Remington, REMINGTLN, and cause number 2020 CR 2125. 120 hours community service restitution. The court will waive 40 of those hours if you provide proof that you've completed the COVID vaccination. That includes the booster shot. The court is not requiring you to take the vaccination, but if you do, the court will deduct 40 hours community service restitution. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There should be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Random field visits 3 times per month. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Mr. Samaniego, do you have a drug issue? I need you to say yes or no.
No, ma'am.
All right, there'll be regular UAs or the patch. Rebecca, does he need anything else?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Samaniego, do you need anything else from the court in order to be successful?
I just was curious because I have court in Guadalupe County on the 31st. If, because y'all both want to do the same thing. They're basically going to mimic the deal. And I didn't know if it's better to be in or out to go to court.
You'll have to make those arrangements through your attorney, Mr. Martinez, and also your other attorney in the other county.
Okay.
All right, so do you need anything else in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Samaniego, you're gonna have to do better.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you probably, I dodged a bullet, right? Not going to prison. But you're gonna have to, the way you feel now is like, thank goodness. You're gonna have to hold on to that and not get into any more trouble, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna send you to breakout room number 1. Probation is gonna go over conditions with you there. Courtroom, if you could go to breakout room number 1, please. All right, Meredith Chacon on Christopher Moreno.
Go ahead. Yes, Your Honor. Marcus just sent me the paperwork. We've got a deal worked out. I'm going to go to the breakout room with my client and go over it, and hopefully we can get it finished today.
All right, awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Joseph Stateson.
Hello, Judge. I spoke
Hi.
with Norma, and Norma asked if I could ask you if Martin Rodriguez appeared on Zoom.
No, did not.
I have the bond company name. Can I confirm if the state to at least get an offer?
Yes, sure. In the courtroom, I'm so sorry. If you could make that breakout room number 2, please. So that probation can go over conditions with Mr. Hall. I'm sorry, Mr. Samaniego.
Judge, when they finish, can Rebecca and I approach you on a different case when you have a minute?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so Joseph, you need to speak with a prosecutor.
Right. I was appointed today. I did see that there is a plea deadline back in December. Other counsel withdrew. I'm on the case. I need an offer.
All right, and what I'm going to do, because I know that you're new on the case, I'm going to reset this.
I had asked Norma for a possible date. She said perhaps February 23rd.
All right, so we'll bring it back on February 23rd. And who is the prosecutor you were conferring with?
I need to. I was not able to yet.
All right, who is going to be the prosecutor to confer on Martin Rodriguez? It's criminal trial division, possession 1 to 4 grams.
I can do it, Judge.
All right, and is there going to be any objection to me extending the plea deadline date for Mr. Stateson since he's brand new to the case?
No, Judge, I don't have any objections.
All right, so we'll make your plea deadline date to February 23rd, and maybe you can get in touch with Mr. Rodriguez. But I am going to note on the docketing sheet that he didn't show.
All right. Yes, Judge. And from there, the breakout room, may I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me see, where are you? He's in breakout room number 4.
Judge, I had to restart my computer. Can you make me a co-host?
Okay, let me see. Yes. All right, and who are the parties ready on Lewis?
You're ready for the state, Judge.
Ready, Judge Geraldez.
Okay, let me put Mr. Lewis on screen. All right, the court is going to call 2020 CR 4189, State of Texas versus Paul Lewis. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Joe Ray Garcia.
for the defense?
Jerry Valdez Jr. for Mr. Lewis.
And are you Mr. Lewis? Could you unmute for me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Paul Joseph Lewis who was placed on community supervision in 2020 CR 4189 for the offense of burglary of a building on December 1st, 2020 for a period of 4 years? Is that you?
That is me.
All right, state.
On or about the 16th, 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, Paul Joseph Lewis did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely methamphetamine, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. How do you plead? True or not true? All right, state.
Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Paul Joseph Lewis, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of September, October, and November 2021 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
The state waives the remaining allegation.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Lewis, did you understand by pleading true to violations of conditions 2 and 5, the court can find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility and a $1,500 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations of conditions 2 and 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find 2 and 5 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, and we're requesting probation's recommendation, which is to deny the motion, alter and amend, extending 1 year, and stat F.
That is the agreement we have, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Lewis? It
Yes, ma'am.
seems that you have a drug problem.
Yes, ma'am. I was in a very bad place last year.
Okay, I understand. How often were you using?
Daily, pretty much.
Okay. How old are you?
61.
All right.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, so I can say this to you because it's very rare. I usually tell people I have more of my life behind me now than in front of me. So unless you and I plan on living to be in like 120 or something, we have more of our life behind us than in front of us, all right?
Actually, ma'am, I plan on being around for about 160.
Oh, wow. Okay, Brenna, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm going to do my best to hold on, but I'm not sure about me. But this is what we're going to do. I'm going to deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to extend you for 1 year. But I'm going to see if he is acceptable to felony drug court. Felony drug court is a very good program, Mr. Lewis. I used to be in
I was very much hoping to get into like a halfway house or something like that. I was in a very bad place.
All right. And I'm going to say if not accepted, then SATA. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to do felony drug court first. And Mr. Lewis, felony drug court, they'll probably see you sometime this week. So the key is you've got to be very honest with them. They have openings, but if you're not serious, okay.
No problem. I've gotten clean and I feel so much better already. Well, I'm not going into it all right now, but yes, I'm glad it all happened this way.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Just be patient. Mr. Valdez, can you go to breakout room number 2? And let probation know on Mr. Lewis's case, he pled true to 2 and number 5, and that the motion is denied. It's altering and amending, extending him 1 year, a referral to felony drug court, and if he's not accepted in a felony drug court, then SATA.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to send you both to breakout room number 2, and then from there, you're excused, Mr. Valdez.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, Judge.
All right. Anyone else ready?
Judge, is the CLO for your court on? I just had a question for probation. My client asked and I wanted to answer it before we go over his paperwork.
All right. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's where she is. Thank you. All right, and Ms. Chacon, I'm going to send you then back to your client, Mr. Marino, and I'll send you back to breakout room number 3.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, everyone, I am here. So let me see if there's anything that's needed.
Judge, I'm just waiting for the new paperwork. Marcus is working on it. My client decided to do a to-do offer instead of applying.
Okay.
So,
All right, we will take care of that. And then Ms. Chacon, you're waiting for paperwork as well?
Well, we had a little bit of a snafu. I sent Norma a text. My client has a misdemeanor that I am not appointed on. That is a family violence case. And so I'm going to have to talk to that lawyer because I don't think they're going to make it a part of this deal. And let's just all blame it on Tom while we're here. Let's just blame it on Tom because I texted him months ago for a deal on this case and never heard back. So of course it wasn't me dropping the ball. It was Tom.
Okay.
So if I could have maybe a week to try and work out a package deal, I'd be more comfortable with
and
it.
this is Mr. Moreno?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Moreno, can we bring this back sometime next week? Let me see what date she gives me.
I'm sorry, Judge, you needed a 30-day?
No, next week.
Oh, next week. Okay, I can do the 31st.
Can we do the 1st or the 2nd?
Sure. What day do you want?
Either one, I'm good in the morning. It's just that one day I can't.
All right, let's do it for the 1st.
Perfect. All right. I'll be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Norma, can you let them know? Good seeing you. Norma, can you let them know Mr. Marino can go back? He's 14I.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, have a great rest of your day.
Bye. Thanks, Judge.
Yes. Hi.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thank you for wearing a mask. Everyone, just give me a moment.
It does, but it's gonna echo.
So I'm gonna go back on this one.
You could do it here,
Right.
but let me just go ahead and unmute and she'll be able to hear you. Because this is a small space and she's able to hear. Yeah, she could hear you.
May I approach her?
All right, bye-bye.
She can hear you.
Yes, Mr. Martinez?
Judge, about a year ago, I did a plea on a gentleman by the name of Vernon Gutierrez under 2019-3231. It was a sex offense with a child. The plea bargain was that he was going to do time on one of the counts in the indictment, and he was going to do probation on the other. So he's now been released from prison on serving the first half of his sentence. And so the question has arisen with his probation officer, whether or not he's allowed to be in his own home with his own child. He has a son who's about 3 or 4, I think.
Okay, so that will need to be set for a hearing.
Well, Judge, I recall that at the hearing, I actually asked the court to address that concern once he got released. And my recollection, I think Rebecca's confirmed it, was that you gave him permission to be around his own child as long as his wife was supervising, because him and his wife and the child live together. But his current PO apparently is not real clear if that's the case or not. So it's not really an amendment of conditions because I think he already made it part of the original.
Okay, all right, let's do this. Let's bring him in. If I did make that his conditions, then that will be his condition. So everybody's on the same page. Let's do
Okay.
this. Let's have him get in touch with the court coordinator, Ms. Ferguson.
Okay.
And let's just set it and make sure it's clear on the record what I ordered. And if I ordered it, it's in on my docketing sheet.
And I think Rebecca went through the notes of the CLO, and it appears to reflect there as well, but it's not as clear as I guess the probation officer needs. And I don't think it's a violation. He just got released this month, as a matter of fact.
Okay, we'll take that out. Just get with Ms. Ferguson and with probation, and we'll make that happen.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Great. I'll watch it somewhere else. Virtual reality.
Judge, I wasn't quite finished talking to Mr. Gutierrez and the deputy put us back here. Can you put us back in a,
Sure. I don't know why that happened.
he
All right,
just misunderstood.
all right, I'll send you out a breakout room number 1.
Okay, thanks.
And just let me know when you're ready.
We are ready on the plea for Mr. Gutierrez when the court is ready for us.
All right, Ms. Corley, just give us a moment and we will take that matter up. And who is the prosecutor on this one?
Marcus.
Okay, and Connie Presky, is she here for, thank you, Marcus.
I'm right here.
Hi.
Hi.
Just give us one moment. Our court reporter is taking care of some other documents. Here she is. I say her name once and she appears.
Just 1 second. Then.
Sure, no problem. She is discussing issues with another court reporter. So just give us a chance, and Mr. Gutierrez will take up your matter in a few moments. So Linda, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Getting back in the groove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your new haircut.
Oh, thank you. I chopped it all off and just let it go natural. So
yeah.
I'm not going to fight the gray anymore, I don't think.
Well, you know, I always tell people natural feels great and it's just less work.
It is less work. I may get bored with it. I do have a habit of getting bored with my hair. So who knows, I could come back with purple hair. But right now we're just going to stick with the natural.
Yeah. I used to always want mine cut and my mom would say, please, will you just do something different, maybe add a spice of color, but stop cutting.
Cutting it off. Well, when I was a little girl, my sister always had long hair and my mom always kept my hair in a pixie. And so the longest I've ever had my hair was maybe to my shoulders.
Yeah.
So
I think pixie cuts are great, but you know what people don't realize? Short hairdos, it does take a lot of work.
Yes, it can. This one doesn't, thankfully. I mean, it is the fastest, easiest haircut I've ever had. But yes, some of my short haircuts have been quite annoying to fix.
Well, I think my mom wanted me to stop cutting it because whenever it would be annoying or there would be some problem, I just run to her and she'd do it. So I think that's why she said, would you please stop cutting it?
Fix this, Mom.
Yeah. Okay. We are ready on Ricky Gutierrez. Court is calling 2021 CR 8739, State of Texas versus Ricky Gutierrez. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Linda Corley for Mr. Gutierrez.
And are you Mr. Gutierrez? Could you unmute for me, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Ms. Corley, did you receive all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
I did receive all the discovery listed on the index, Your Honor, and we have thoroughly discussed the case.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with a burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor. And we did have a competency evaluation. He was found competent.
And Mr. Gutierrez, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than a plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
What do you mean you're not sure?
I think she did a good job. I think she did a good job. I just don't think I have a very good chance against this woman and her family.
Well, no. Let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Mr. Gutierrez, I want you to be clear on the questions that I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm not asking you what you think your odds are of going to a jury trial and being found guilty or not guilty. What I'm asking you is, Ms. Corley is your attorney.
She did a
Are you
great.
satisfied with the way she's been representing you?
Yeah, she did a great job. She has a lot of experience, and I'm happy for that.
All right. Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am.
All right. The court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm going to show you what's entitled plea bargain agreement. Did you review that with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on both paragraph A and B. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There are no applications. This will run concurrent with 2019 CR 4092. And there's to be no contact with Connie, CONNIE, Pruski, PRUSKI. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor. In addition, on the MTR, we have agreed to have this sentence reformed to 2 years.
All right. And state, is that your understanding of the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver repeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not, Your Honor.
Then Mr. Gutierrez, to the offense as charged in the indictment, how do you plead to paragraph A, guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
How do you plead to paragraph B, guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's no contest, please.
Yes, the state offers states Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm going to show you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, my client did express regret. This incident happened. There were a lot of things going on, and he was confused due to schizophrenia and not complying with his medication. He actually asked that I pass on an apology through the prosecutor, that he is very regretful that this happened, and he would just request that the court follow the agreement.
All right, then the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 5 years in prison, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2019 CR 4092. There's to be no contact with Connie Pruski. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, I do understand.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, I do understand, Your Honor.
All right. I do understand there's a victim impact statement, but we'll take that up after we finish with this next case. The court is going to call 2019 CR 4092. Could I have parties announce again for the record, please?
Marcus Sanders for the state.
Linda Corley for Mr. Gutierrez.
And are you Mr. Gutierrez?
Yes, I am.
Again, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Motion to Enter Deferred Adjudication and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Are you the same Ricky Gutierrez who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2019 CR 4092 for the offense of violation of bond and protective order 2 priors on June 25th, 2019 for a period of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your
Right,
Honor.
state.
Condition number 1, on or about the 3rd day of June 2021, in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Ricky Gutierrez, committed the offense of burglary in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
We're pleading true, Your Honor. Mr. Gutierrez?
True, I'm sorry.
We'll waive the other.
Any objections to the state's waiver? Any objection to the state's waiver of violation of condition number 2?
No, Your Honor. No objections to waiver.
Okay. Mr. Gutierrez, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is there an agreement?
Yes, Judge. We're asking that you grant the motion, adjudicate and revoke and sentence him to 2 years TDC concurrent with the case he just pled.
That is our agreement, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gutierrez, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes,
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
yes, Your Honor.
Right, the court will follow your agreement. The court is finding violation of condition number 1 true. Court is granting the motion, will find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 8739. And I'm trying to see, just one moment. Is there any other time that he served that I'm unaware of, Ms. Corley?
Judge, the clerk told me that on his MTR case, he has 418 days in.
Okay.
And on the burglary case, he has 209 days in.
All right, and the motion to revoke, I'm sorry, the burglary was before, but there is no overlapping between the burglary and the time he was in custody for this, for the motion to revoke?
I think there should have been some overlapping time on that. When he was in custody for the burglary, that's when he was in custody for quite a while to do the competency eval, and he should have also been in custody on the MTR.
Okay, so Ms. Corley, if you will check with the clerks to make sure they get his appropriate credit for time served. If there's an issue, just let the court know.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Gutierrez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you need a question or have questions about the definition of what a weapon is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Gutierrez, it's my understanding is that there's a victim impact statement. I require that everyone treat everyone with respect. So Ms. Persky has some things she would like to say, and I'm asking that you internalize those, okay?
And if we could have him mute his microphone, Your Honor.
Yes.
Are you ready for me?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Gutierrez, I just want you to know what you put my family through, what we are still going through. And I'm trying very hard to forgive you. You took our freedom. You took our peace of mind. I can't even let our daughter outside to play. You didn't even know us. You didn't know us. And I mean, people are saying, did you try to break in to steal? I don't even think you were doing that. I think you wanted to hurt somebody. Well, you accomplished that. You did accomplish that. You got 5 years. I don't know if I'm going to be over this in 5 years. I mean, I may not even be here in 5 years, but besides that, you need to think about your actions, how it affects other people. Not just what you do, just not what you think you need at the moment. I know they tell me you have a mental illness. I'm sorry for that. But you shouldn't. There's help for people, and you should avail yourself to that help. And I think you don't want to go to prison. I'm sure you don't.
Can you hear
I
me?
just don't know. Maybe you'll
I
feel
know,
better.
I'm sorry, just one moment. Mr. Gutierrez, you're not allowed to speak back. I know she already said, and your attorney said on your behalf, that you apologize to the state and the defense. Ms. Parisky is aware of that, but you're not allowed to speak to her. Just internalize what's being said, okay? All right, you may continue, Ms. Parisky.
Okay. I just want you to know that we're serving the same 5 years. I can't be alone. I'm scared. I think you've done things in the past that maybe you didn't get punished for, and you think that it's okay. I don't know. People keep giving you chances. I don't know what else to say to you. I just hope that you get yourself better, I guess.
Thank you, Ms. Parisky. All right, Mr. Gutierrez, there are plenty of places free in San Antonio for you to receive any help that you need. This is what I know from my experience of people who have mental health issues. You receive medications, you start feeling great, you think you're great, and then you stop taking them. Or either you receive medications and they have side effects, and so you don't want to take them anymore. Before you get to that point, you need to speak to a doctor, okay? All right, with that, we are going to let Mr. Gutierrez go back. Norma, he's 17I. Ms. Corley, did you need to speak anymore with Mr. Gutierrez?
No, Judge, I do not.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Sanders, did you need to speak with Ms. Parisky?
Briefly, Judge.
All right, Ms. Parisky, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. And the prosecutor will meet you there.
Marcus, I just sent you a chat.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Corley. You were the last case that we had.
Well, thank you, Judge, for your patience. I appreciate it. And I'm glad we were able to get this finished out finally. It did take quite a while.
Oh, no problem. All right, well, you have a great rest of your day. And
If
it's
I
still
could pop
sort of
in
cloudy.
with, yeah, it is kind of a gloomy day. If I could pop in with the clerk, I'll just talk with him about those times served. I think he probably has it right. It sounds about right, but I'll just check on it.
Sure, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Robert, could you go to breakout room number 2, please?
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too. All right, so everyone, that is the end of our day. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Brent, I'm gonna have to get a list of all the new prosecutors we have in the courtroom. So I'm gonna stop live stream and we'll be back at tomorrow at 9 a.m. As they say, Brenna, if God willing and the creek